You got two choices. I can punch you in the face or you can just leave. Which choice do you take?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 onstage freakouts by musicians.
Hey, no, what are you doing? Yo, what are you doing? Stop it.
God, I'm so sick of people like you, man.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most memorable times that a musician lost their cool during a performance, whether because they were provoked or for no apparent reason at all. Which of these do you find justified, and which are just straight up crazy? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Paul Stanley rages against a laser pointer. There's nothing quite like a man in white face paint unleashing his rage.
In case you have any doubt, you are definitely a rock city.
After an audience member targeted the band with a laser pointer during their performance of Love Gun at a 2009 concert in Portland, Kiss's Paul Stanley stopped the show to address him.
And if y'all want to see me shove a laser pin up some motherfucker's ass, it's that guy right there.
He cracked a few jokes regarding the audience member's young age, like referencing his first beer and the fact that his mom was probably waiting outside in the car.
I know it's a big night for you. You may have had your first beer, but we're here to have a good time, and you're not going to wreck it for anybody.
The crowd found it a hoot, cheering along. To Stanley's credit, he didn't get too angry or boisterous, which is more than we can say for many others on this list.
I know you got it for Christmas.
Number 19. Nathan Williams has a breakdown at Primavera Sound. In 2009, the San Diego-based indie punk band Waves was performing at Primavera Sound Festival in Barcelona, and it couldn't have gone worse. Frontman Nathan Williams was under the influence, and he annoyed both the crowd and his own bandmates with his petulant behavior.
Just hit the drum.
He mocked the audience and the festival itself, resulting in bottles and shoes being thrown on stage.
Oh, yeah, I know. What? There's nobody playing that first. Settle down, boss.
The drummer eventually left after pouring a beer over Williams' head and throwing his drumsticks at him, and Williams was left playing into a cut mic while stagehands dismantled the drum kit.
Alright, hi everybody, we're Waves.
It was a poetic symbol of a disastrous performance. Number 18. Are there any Nickelback fans in Portugal?
Have we got any Nickelback fans in Portugal?
Well, evidently not. When Nickelback took to the stage at Portugal's Ilha do Hermal festival in 2002, unruly audience members pelted them with rocks. Not unreasonably, an irritated Chad Kruger asked them if there were any Nickelback fans in Portugal. He followed up by asking if they wanted to, quote, hear some rock and roll, or, quote, go home, before raising his hands in bewilderment. A response was forthcoming as he was smacked in the head by a thrown object. In response, he bid farewell to the crowd before walking off stage and flipping them off. Number 17. Andy Biersack confronts a heckler. As it turns out, Black Veil Bride's frontman Andy Biersack doesn't like comparisons to Motley Crue. While performing in Vancouver, Biersack was accosted by a heckler who made unfavorable comparisons to the aforementioned band and repeatedly requested that the opening act return.
You two, all of you, come up here right now. Come on. No, I want you to play our guitars right now.
Biersack stopped the show and asked them to come on stage before throwing the microphone into the crowd. The heckler refused to speak into the mic or come on stage, so Biersack decided to jump into the crowd and confront them himself.
Someone escort this motherfucker out of me.
He was pulled away by security, however, while the crowd chanted his name. Number 16. Rob Zombie rants about Marilyn Manson. In October of 2012, Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson were performing together at Detroit's DTE Energy Center during the Twins of Evil tour.
Take a look at this. Does it look like it's been kicked by anybody?
Manson started his set late and went over his allotted time, then accused Zombie of ending his set prematurely. Manson even threatened to kick Zombie's ass.
Everyone kick somebody's ass.
furious zombie retaliated on stage by venting to the crowd in a profanity-laced rant about Manson.
But some tours do not go together.
Fortunately, no asses were actually kicked. The feud was quickly resolved, and the tour continued without another hitch.
Save the best for last!
Number 15. Shirley Manson can eat meat. Garbage frontwoman Shirley Manson has long been known for her brash rock and roll persona, and that was on full display during 2012's Mares Vivas Music Festival.
If you see anybody throwing anything at anybody else, you tell me about it, or you tell one of the security officers at the side of the stage.
A member of the crowd was supposedly throwing items, prompting Manson to stop the show. She then threatened to have the security guards beat him up.
I will ask the crowd to move away from you, and you'll be left standing on your own. And then I'll get the security officers to come down and pick you up and you up so bad.
And she ended the rant with the unexpected proclamation, quote, "I'm on my period, I can eat meat."
I'm on my period, I can eat meat.
Did she just threaten to cannibalize someone? If so, that might be a first when it comes to onstage freakouts. Number 14. Dave Grohl kicks a fan out. The Foo Fighters frontman has earned a reputation for being the nicest guy in rock.
Skin and bones. Skin and bones.
But even nice guys can lose their tempers when someone is disrupting their show.
Hey! Hold on a second. Hold on. Quiet.
At London's Roundhouse in 2011, Grohl spotted an unruly fan who was fighting in the audience.
Who's fighting right now? Who's fighting? Let me see him.
He stopped singing in order to call the fan out and throw him out. As he told the rest of the audience, he was there to make people dance, not fight. It was, to be honest, a pretty justified reason to lose your temper on stage.
Yeah, whatever. Shut up. That guy was an asshole. He's out of here.
Number 13. Dave Mustaine versus Laser Pointer. Paul Stanley isn't the only rock and roll legend irritated by laser pointers. While performing at the infamous 1999 Woodstock Festival, Megadeth's Dave Mustaine was targeted by someone with a laser pointer, prompting a funny and crude rebuttal.
I see who you are with the laser, you little dickhead.
Oh, aren't you so cool?
The rant was filled with expletives and dripping with sarcasm, including his nice little thank you and thumbs up at the end.
How about you be cool so the people around you don't beat your brains in and let me play guitar, okay? Thank you.
The put down seems to have worked, as fortunately for both the band and the crowd, the annoying laser did not reappear. Number 12. Maynard James Keenan tackles a guy and keeps singing. And you thought singing and playing an instrument at the same time was difficult. Tool was performing Push It at the Astoria Theatre in London in 1997 when a boisterous fan got on stage and approached singer Maynard James Keenan. He may have been unaware of Keenan's jiu-jitsu skills. With his arms outstretched in celebration, the fan was grappled and thrown over Keenan's shoulder and subsequently pinned to the ground. But the best was yet to come, as Keenan got the guy in a chokehold and continued to sing the song without missing a note. Now, this is one creative and absolutely hilarious way to dispose of a stage rusher. Number 11. Justin Bieber tries wiping the floor. While performing in Norway in October 2015, Justin Bieber attempted to clean a puddle of water that had been spilled on stage. However, his excited fans got in the way, prompting Bieber to lose his temper.
Hey, I'm trying to wipe the floor. Give me a second, yo. Guys, never mind. I'm done. I'm not doing the show.
He tiredly stated into the mic that he was done and that he was not doing the show, while throwing off his jacket and storming backstage.
I'm not doing the show.
This freakout came after performing just one song for the nearly 1,000-strong Norwegian crowd. Bieber apologized on Instagram, saying that it was a rough week and that he had been irritable owing to overwork and lack of sleep. Number 10. Billy Joel flips his piano. While Joel was performing in Moscow back in 1987, his documentary crew directed the light technicians to illuminate the audience so that they could get better shots.
Why does it always seem to hit me in the middle of the night? right? Stop it!
But this killed the vibe, leaving Soviet fans fearful that security was about to descend on them. In response, Joel screamed at the lighting technicians to stop, seamlessly integrating his shouts into the song.
Told me there's a number I can always dial. Let me do my show, for Christ's sake!
When they didn't, he flipped his own piano and destroyed a microphone stand, all while still singing. The fans thought the whole outburst was just, well, rock and roll, and honestly, maybe it was. Number 9. Josh Homme kicks a photographer in the head. Josh Homme of Queens of the Stone Age is well known for his short fuse and irritable personality.
Turn the around, you chicken shit!
One only needs to watch his profanity-filled tirade against an audience member at Norwegian Wood to know that. Another shocking moment came at the KROQ's Almost Acoustic Christmas concert when Homme kicked a photographer, seemingly without reason. According to the photographer, Chelsea Lauren, Homme violently kicked her camera, which was driven into her face. She was forced to seek medical treatment at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Homme later apologized, saying that he was, quote, lost in performance.
I was a total dick.
Number 8. Ted Nugent on Obama and Clinton. Ted Nugent is one of the most outspoken Republicans in entertainment, and it was clear that he abhorred Democrats Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. While performing in 2007, Nugent brandished 2 assault rifles on stage and told Obama to, quote, suck on my machine gun.
I was in Chicago last week. I said, hey, Obama, you might want to suck on one of these, you punk!
He also told Clinton to, quote, ride one of these into the sunset. His suggestions were met with some cheers and applause from the audience. Nugent, who famously said of apartheid that, quote, all men are not created equal, would later call Obama, quote, subhuman, and escalate his threats, leading to investigation by the Secret Service. Number 7. Father John Misty rants about American idiocracy. He may go by the stage name Father John Misty, but chances are most fans didn't shell out music festival cash for a sermon about the numbed collective consciousness.
Do we think that our hilarious tyrant is going to be met with a hilarious revolution?
Tillman was set to perform at WXPN's Exponential Festival, but rather than grabbing his guitar and putting on a show, he decided to smoke a cigarette and lecture about the numbing effect of the entertainment industry, the nature of evil, and the stupidity of the world.
No, look over here, put your self-awareness on.
He then improvised a winding piece before covering Leonard Cohen and prematurely walking off stage. We don't know if he was on something, but it sure killed the audience's buzz. Number 6. Axl Rose jumps into the crowd. Axl Rose, vocalist of Guns N' Roses, certainly has a flair for the dramatic. He's infamous for his tirades and meltdowns, but the best of the bunch has to be this one, which sees him literally jumping into the crowd.
Hey, take that! Now, get that guy and take that!
After telling security to take away a man's camera, Axl proceeds to jump into the crowd and take action into his own hands. He then blames the, quote, lame-ass security before slamming the microphone down and storming off stage.
Well, thanks to the lame-ass security, I'm going home.
It's not every day you see an entertainer leaving the stage to literally attack their own fans, but hey, Axl Rose has always been one of a kind. Number 5. Courtney Love freaks out. Okay, this one we can understand.
I don't need to see a picture of Kurt, asshole.
While playing in Brazil, Love stopped the show to deride a fan who was constantly throwing up a picture of Kurt Cobain, frontman of Nirvana and husband to Love for 2 years, before he tragically took his own life.
Go see the Foo Fighters and do that shit.
She called the fan rude, explaining that she has to live with the memory of Kurt every day, and that throwing up pictures of him is disrespectful and stupid. The man apparently does it again because she curses him out, flips him off, and leaves the stage. Most onstage freakouts are childish, but this one, while still unpleasant, feels heavier and more personal. Number 4. Kurt Cobain has a tantrum. Speaking of Kurt Cobain, here he is in action doing very Kurt Cobain things. Kurt was seemingly hammered for this performance as he randomly stops performing in the middle of the song, staggers backwards, and slams his guitar into the ground. He then goes on a rampage of destruction, which includes destroying the drum kit, knocking over and viciously headbutting the amps, and using the drum cymbal as a blunt instrument. Like his similarly weird freakout at the Hollywood Rock Festival, it's hard to tell if this is just a drunken escapade or an unwell man desperately crying out for help. Number 3. Danita Sparks throws her tampon at the crowd. Now this is surreal. Sparks, co-founder and vocalist of metal band L7, was truly not feeling up to facing the wrath of the crowd on this day. While playing at England's Reading Festival, the band experienced technical difficulties, and the irate crowd began to fling mud at the stage in frustration. In retaliation, Sparks took out her menstrual product, spoke to the crowd, and flung the used item at them.
Eat my used tampon. Oh, Jesus.
It's hard to know where to begin with this. We're used to vocalists yelling at people, jumping into crowds, and destroying equipment, but this is something else.
If we are invited to Reading next year, I will be giving birth and eating the placenta on stage.
Number 2. Billie Joe Armstrong's meltdown at iHeartRadio.
Come here. You want to come up here and fight? I'll fight you right now. Come on, get up on the stage.
Green Day's Billie Joe Armstrong is no stranger to confrontation, having jumped into a crowd to fight a patron who was supposedly bothering others in 1997. But it's his infamous 2012 meltdown that takes our entry here. Green Day was performing at the iHeartRadio Festival in Las Vegas when the singer noticed that they only had 1 minute of stage time remaining.
I've been around since 1988. And you're gonna give me 1 minute?
Rather than putting on a hell of a final minute, Armstrong stopped the song and went on a slurred, profanity-filled tirade complete with declarations of how long he's been around and that he isn't Justin Bieber.
Let me show you what 1 minute means.
He then destroys his guitar, flips off the officials, and saunters off stage. We've seen angry people before, but this is a full-on meltdown for the ages.
Want more music content? WatchMojo produces an original podcast taking a behind-the-scenes look at all things music. The show provides authentic interviews with artists from all around the world, while also staying true to WatchMojo's roots with top 10 music banter thrown into the mix.
What's the best advice Alice Cooper's ever given you? Looking back at the staying power, does it shock you?
No, we have naked pictures of the right people.
If you want exclusive interviews with award-winning artists, producers, singers, songwriters, check out Innersleeve.
Number 1. Kanye West's rant in Sacramento. Kanye West has always been a controversial and dramatic figure, but he elevated his game here and delivered what was surely the greatest meltdown in music history.
I am putting my career, my life, my public well-standing at risk when I talk to y'all like this. This is a moment in the Matrix, bro.
After showing up 90 minutes late to his show in 2016, West performed very briefly before randomly exploding into a diatribe that touched on many topics, including fellow celebrities like Beyonce and Jay-Z, the politics of Hillary Clinton, and pop radio playlists.
Get ready, because the show's over.
He then dropped the mic and stormed off stage. Later, he canceled the remaining dates of the tour, citing stress and exhaustion.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.